Hi, I am Divine Design Tarot. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your reader. Today the topic will be about what messages your future self has for you. The spread that I am offering today will be very detailed as it will include multiple life areas. These life areas include love, career or studies, and personal growth or your spiritual journey. So these sections will include any messages that your future self would like to tell you about your life in the future. The reading will also go over an estimation of when you will become this future version of yourself, as well as any advice that your future self has for your current situation or your current self that is currently watching this video. There are 4 groups to choose from today. We have group number 1 with ruby fuchsite, group number 2 with lepidolite, group number 3 with goldstone, and group number 4 with malachite. I ask that you please pause the video to take a few deep breaths, think about the topic, and then choose whichever group you resonate with the most. The timestamps for each group will be provided in the description and comments section below. Anyway, I am going to get started now, and I will meet you at your reading. This reading is for those who felt drawn to this ruby fuchsite. First off, ruby fuchsite is a crystal that is heavily associated with the heart chakra. When working with this crystal, it can help the carrier let go of baggage or unnecessary weight that is in the heart space. Through this crystal, one can discover their true inner strength, courage, and honest truths. This crystal also helps the user to act and speak in ways that are true to having an open heart. So I just wanted to talk about the crystal for a little bit before I go into the cards today, so you can keep that message in mind as it may relate to the general theme of this reading. As you can see, we have a very detailed tarot spread today. This tarot and oracle card represents your love life of the future self that is coming forward today. Up next, we have this section representing the career and studies of your future self. And then over here, we have this tarot and oracle card representing anything that your future self wants you to know about your personal life. So this could be about your health, personal growth, or spiritual journey. And then we have one lone tarot card right here that answers the question, when will you become this version of yourself? So how far into the future is this version of yourself coming to talk to you from? And then over here I have 2 tarot cards and then 1 oracle card that are messages from your future self and advice on how to become this future version of yourself. So I'm going to get started with the aspect of love. Now this could be any type of love. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could be any close, intimate bond, and it can even be talking about self-love as well, so keep that in mind. Okay, so starting with this Eight of Cups. I'm feeling that your future self has walked away from a relationship. I'm seeing that especially with this figure walking this way. They walked away from something. This relationship doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It just pertains to any close, intimate bond. And it may be different for all the individuals who picked this group. So I'll keep it to a general meaning. I'm also seeing that leaving this relationship will make room for another relationship that's more fulfilling and balanced. That is especially coming from these cups. So if you can see, the light is going back and forth from these cups. That to me is speaking of balance, meaning what you give and receive is balanced. So whatever you put into this new relationship that you're making room for will be reciprocated. It will be equal. And with the full moon shedding light on this card, the ending of the relationship will be near when certain truths are revealed. Also, with the green landscape in the background, I'm seeing that this decision will be grounded in your heart chakra, since the heart chakra is related to the color green. In other words, it will be the right choice since you listened to your heart and intuition to leave whatever relationship this is talking about. I also want to point out the number 8 in this card. To me, the number 8 indicates some sort of cycle. So I see by walking away from this relationship, you will be breaking free from a cycle. Okay, so moving on to this oracle card here. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, but I believe it is dimertirite. The crystal looks crystallized, kind of like frozen ice in this card. From that imagery, I'm receiving the energy that during this relationship you may have hardened yourself or put on a cold exterior as a protective front or defense mechanism. However, once you leave this relationship, like we're seeing in the Eight of Cups, it will be safe to melt that ice shield that you built and be more emotionally open. This crystal also helps clear away clutter, reestablish a sense of order, and gain clarity. To get to this place of the Eight of Cups, this oracle card is saying that you will need to think deeply about what you want and need in your relationships. Before leaving this relationship, there will be a time of honesty, being honest with yourself. You will discover the truth to what makes your heart happy. This time of pondering that is going to happen in your future, that your future self has already gone through, will enhance your relationships, and it will come from a sense of self-love and acknowledgement that you deserve the love that you desire. Okay. Now, next I'll go into what your career or studies will look like in the future, or what your future self would like you to know about what's going on in your life in terms of career and studies. So here we have the Wheel of Fortune. In this deck, it is named Chance, but it is the Wheel of Fortune in traditional tarot. With the number 10 in this card, this reduces to the number 1 in numerology. I associate the number 1 with new beginnings. So in terms of your career and studies, there will be some sort of new beginning. Now this could be a promotion, new position, new area of study, acceptance into an academic program, some sort of internship or associateship, etc. I'm seeing with the white flowers and the white dress here that you will be taking actions that are in alignment with your higher self, because I always associate the color white with the higher self. And right next to this card, we have the Oracle card here, and you see polar bears in an environment of snow. So that's a lot of white. That's telling me that in the future, your future self will be acting solely on what is right for you and what is in alignment with your true path, with your true self, with your higher self. In addition to this, with the flames on this person's head, I'm taking this as having a metaphorical meaning, like you will be on fire. Your crown chakra will be lit up like these flames here. You will be receiving messages of what to do, and you'll be taking action based on these messages. If you can see in this card here, this individual is holding blackness and then an orb of white light in the other hand. I'm interpreting this as your future self being able to transmute any type of negativity into positivity to fuel your career or academic goals. So your future self is utilizing mistakes, critical feedback from others, negative thoughts or emotions in productive ways. What would have been obstacles in your way, your future self is transmuting these into stepping stones to continue climbing up a ladder of success. Traditionally speaking, the Wheel of Fortune also talks about luck, success, destiny, and a time of optimism. So going off of that message, anything related to your career or studies will be working out in the best possible ways. With the Oracle card next to this Wheel of Fortune, this says a leg up and has the number 34. With the name of this card and imagery, the message of good luck and success is being confirmed. The phrase having a leg up means that you will receive help in some way, whether this takes the form of a monetary bonus, a physical reward, an acceptance letter, praise from a mentor, letter of recommendation, etc. You will be getting help in your career or studies. And this could be from an individual, a group of people, or perhaps even an institution that will give you a leg up, so to speak, a helping hand, and an opportunity to continue rising in your career or academic career. This card also talks about working interdependently with others, and this will lead to prosperity and success. Also with the number 4 here, this reduces to the number 7 in numerology. I associate the number 7 with personal choices. So your future self's personal choices that are in alignment with your higher self, as we saw with all of this white in these cards, will gain the attention of others and lead to recognition. It will lead to this leg up that the Oracle card is talking about. Now moving on to the personal realm. I left this area of the reading pretty open, so it could be talking about your health, personal growth, or spiritual journey. We have the Justice card in reverse. Although this card came out upside down in the reverse position, I think it is trying to make a connection to the tarot cards going this way. So I'm going to read it in the upright position instead of the reverse position. Justice. This card talks about, this card is talking about your personal and spiritual journey. So your future self has reached a place of letting their intuition guide them. And I'm seeing that with the blindfold over this figure's eyes. With the scales, I'm feeling an inner sense of balance within you, within your future self. And this is especially in terms of a perfect balance of your logical and intuitive side. Also with this sword here, I'm receiving the message that your future self knows when to put their thoughts into action. There is also an abundance of flowers around this figure in the Justice card. I'm perceiving this as abundance flowing all around your future self, from acting upon your intuition and this newfound balance that I spoke of. With the Traveler Oracle card right next to the Justice card, it says, move in a new direction. And as I said before, with the Justice card facing into these tarot cards over here, that is telling me that this Justice card, this Justice energy of your future self, is connected to the outcomes that we talked about for your career and studies and your love life. So, wielding your intuition in a productive manner will be directly tied to these outcomes in your life in the future. So right next to the Justice card, we have this Oracle card that says Traveler. Move in a new direction. The literal interpretation of this card is that your future self is going to move or already has moved. This could mean moving to a new house, new city, or even a new, different part of the world. Now, this could be a result of the new beginning in your career or studies that we saw in this section here. With the pink color of this dress, I connect that with the higher heart chakra and self-love. So metaphorically speaking, your future self is moving in a direction and acting in ways that are in alignment with self-love. This card can also talk about undergoing an awakening and gaining a new understanding of the self. So your future self has embarked on a journey within and shed what no longer served them to continue growing. Okay, so we have the Knight of Wands here in reverse. This is denoting when you will become the future version of yourself that came forward in this reading. The Knight of Wands is usually indicative of fast-moving energy since it is a Wands card and associated with the element of fire. However, since this card came out in the reverse position, and also we have an old man here standing very still, I'm taking this as it might take a while to become this future version of yourself. In addition to this, since the card came out in the reverse position, this might indicate that there is a blockage or obstacle in your way to becoming this future version of yourself. Since it's facing towards the section of the reading which will be about advice from your future self for your current situation, I think the advice will definitely talk about how to remove these hindrances that the Knight of Wands is suggesting. The Knight of Wands is associated with the number 12. So it could be 12 weeks, 12 months, or 12 years. However, like I said before, the advice from your higher self could help this happen even sooner. It is within your power and you have the control to become this future version of yourself sooner than what this card suggests. Okay, so moving on to the part of the reading in which your future self offers you some advice. This King of Swords in reverse, I'm taking it as where you currently are. Since this card is in the reverse position, I'm feeling a sense of pessimism and discouragement. Like you may not believe that the future version of yourself who came forward truly exists. Swords are also a symbol for mental activity, so your thoughts, words, things of that nature. With this card, I'm seeing that your thoughts and logical side are controlling you in an unproductive manner at this time. So you may feel like things are happening to you without a sense of personal control over these events. At this time, it seems that your logic is hurting you, while bringing a sense of indecisiveness and a lack of clarity. Since this card came out, the King of Swords, although it did come out in the reverse position, this suggests that it can turn into the upright position, and that can happen by changing your thoughts. But let's see what else your future self wants to tell you in the rest of this section here. With this King of Pentacles, your future self wants you to know that this is who you truly are. You are someone who makes their dreams and goals a reality. With the yellow colors of this card, it is related to the solar plexus chakra. This means you have the will, strength, and power to manifest all that you truly desire. The solar plexus chakra also denotes taking actions based on your true, most authentic self. So if you want to become this future version of yourself, this future version of yourself is coming forward to say that you don't need to wait for this to happen. You could take action now, especially actions that are in alignment with your true self, with your higher self, kind of like what we are seeing in this section of the reading here. Honestly, all over this reading, it was reiterating that message of taking action, acting upon your intuition with what is most connected to your heart and your true self. Lastly, with this card, with the flowers here, I always connect flowers with abundance. So this is telling me that you are a magnet for success and abundance when you connect with this part of yourself that is lying within. So when you connect with this King of Pentacles energy, because this is who you truly are, even if you may not believe it right now, like we saw in the King of Swords in reverse. Okay, so with the Oracle card, this is the chameleon spirit animal. At the bottom of the card, it says, act as if. This is a very important statement that your future self wants you to adhere to. Act as if you are this King of Pentacles. You are, it is inside of you, but it's time to act on this energy. Act on this part of yourself. Also with the number 14, this reduces to the number 5 in numerology. To me, the number 5 indicates change. So your future self is telling you that to become them, to become this future version of yourself that we have talked about in the reading, it will require change. Going back to this statement, act as if, this is quite literal. Even if you don't believe that you can become this future version of yourself or achieve this future life, your future self is coming forward to encourage you to act as if you do believe in it. You're being advised to start taking actions that match your future self and the future life that was presented in this reading. You can be like this chameleon here. The chameleon adapts and blends into its environment, and in this way, they almost become it. They become what they're trying to embody and trying to pretend to be. So make actions that blend in with your future self, and you will become your future self. The greatest gift you can give your future self is taking action in the present to make this future a reality. Over time, as you embody this future self more and more, it will eventually feel effortless and natural. And before you know it, you will be this future self that we talked about and we talked to during this reading. That is all the message I have for you today. I hope you found these messages to be helpful, enlightening, empowering, and inspiring. If you feel called to do so, please leave a like or comment to let me know how the reading resonated with you. I also offer personal readings through my website at divinedesigntarot.com. I am sending you lots of love and light. I am wishing you the best in becoming this future version of yourself. I hope to connect with you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, this reading is for those who picked group number 2 and were drawn to this lepidolite crystal. So, let me explain the spread before I get into reading the cards. This tarot card and oracle card here will be any messages from your future self pertaining to your love life. Now, this could be any close, intimate bonds that you have in your life. So it could pertain to friendships, romantic relationships, relationships with family members, or even self-love. This next section over here with the tarot and oracle card will be any messages your future self would like to tell you about your career or studies. And then right next to it, this will be any messages your future self would like to tell you about your personal life. So I'm leaving this area pretty broad. It could be about your personal growth or spiritual journey. Just whatever they would like to tell you in regards to your personal life. Now, this tarot card over here will tell us when in time your future self is coming from, so when you will become this future version of yourself. Here we have 2 tarot cards and 1 oracle card that will tell you any advice that your future self would like to mention about your current situation or your current self. Okay, so I'm going to get started over here with the messages about your love life in the future. With this 4 of Swords, I'm feeling that this is referring to self-love. The energy I'm receiving is that your future self has reached a mindset in which they always put their own thoughts and opinions first. With the 3 of Swords that we see on the side of this card, I'm feeling that these represent the thoughts and opinions of others. And before you reach this point, your future self has reached this point, you may have heavily been influenced by the thoughts and opinions of others in order to make decisions. With the chains intersecting at the heart center, I'm receiving the message that your future self is protecting themselves from others' influence. Also with the white clothing, I think that this protection comes from a place of knowing your true self and what's best for you, because I connect the color white with the higher self and the crown chakra. The sword resting on this person's shoulder tells me that you have reached a point of understanding and acceptance of who you truly are. Because with the sword on their shoulder and the position that they're taking, including their body language, it's telling me that your future self stands tall, proudly, and confidently due to this inner acceptance and understanding of themselves. And it kind of looks like this person's eyes are looking past these swords. Like they know that the swords are here, but it's almost like they're not directly looking at them. They're looking somewhere else entirely. Like I was saying before, this analogy that I'm interpreting from these 3 swords is the thoughts and opinions of others. So since the eyes are looking past these 3 swords, Your future self is not concerning themselves with others' thoughts, and they are completely focused on doing what is best for them. The traditional interpretation of the Four of Swords talks about ghosting someone or even more than one person. However, I'm not necessarily getting the feeling that you will fully need to cut ties with someone or even a group of people. It's more like the noise around you that is out of alignment with your highest good doesn't seem to faze you anymore. It's like it doesn't matter because you see the truth for yourself. You see what's best for yourself. I'm also receiving the message that this will happen after a period of contemplation and meditation. It's giving me similar vibes of the self-reflection that is found in the Hermit card in Tarot. So your future self got to this point by taking a break from others and putting their focus inward, putting their focus to what's inside, to what's true for them, to find out who they truly are, like we're talking about in this card. Okay, now with this Oracle card next to the Four of Swords, it is Amazonite with the number 2. What's immediately calling out to me is this spark of light right here. There's a face inside of the crystal, and there's a spark of light right on the face's forehead. That spark of light is important because I'm interpreting it as knowing what's best for you and being in alignment with your higher self. That message is being repeated like it was in the Four of Swords. The meaning of this Oracle card talks about truth, revelation, and evolution. The crystal spirit of Amazonite asks you to trust in the process and the flow of revelation. What will be revealed will help you understand your true purpose in this life. So with these two cards together, you will be discovering truths, discovering a lot of truth about yourself specifically. And this will greatly enhance the love that you have for yourself. With the purple color in the background here of this Oracle card, this to me relates to the third eye chakra. Since the third eye chakra is about psychic seeing, this symbolism from the purple color represents that same message of seeing the truth and what is best for your true path. And like I was saying with the eyes looking past these three swords that represent other people's opinions and thoughts, I'm feeling that what you see, the vision that you have for yourself and your path may be out of alignment with what others think is best for you. But your future self has come to a point where they are able to take action on their visions despite their visions being out of alignment with others' judgments, others' thoughts. And they will remain confident in their vision, in their path, in themselves. Okay, so moving on to the section about career or studies. Here we have, with the tarot card, the Ace of Wands. I'm feeling a lot of inspiration and creativity with this card. this beam of light is reminding me of divine inspiration. With it striking into a bed of flowers, this new flow of ideas holds potential for abundance, since flowers symbolize prosperity. It's almost like your future self is riding on a wave of inspiration. With these flowers, I'm also getting the message that you will be creating your ideas, visions, and dreams. They can all be materialized into form. They won't simply be ideas. They can become real. Also, I feel an energy of excitement coming from your future self with this card about your future career or studies. Okay, moving on to the Oracle card, we have Higher Power. Oh, in this card, we have the number 4 again, like we had in the Four of Swords. And this is pulling me towards the symbolism and the messages contained by the number 4. The number 4 is about establishing foundation, stability. It's also about manifestations materializing, taking its form. So manifestations coming true, becoming a reality. And I think with the number 4 here, it's reiterating the messages that we saw in the Four of Swords. I think your future self also would like you to pay attention to any synchronicities that are related to the number 4. For example, if you saw 444 on the clock, if you saw it on a billboard, a license plate, anything like that, because that could be a message from your future self or even higher self about being on the right path that is true for you. So I would just keep that in mind moving forward. That could be a little hint for you. Okay, going back to what I'm seeing in this card though. As you can see, there's a smaller figure in this larger being here. I'm taking this as this larger being as your higher self, and this as your future self, the smaller one inside. So again, it's that message of being connected to your higher self, that same message that we got in the Four of Swords. Being connected to that higher perspective. This may also explain the divine inspiration that I was interpreting from the Ace of Wands. So your higher self may be sending messages, ideas, and visions to your future self, which is how we came across this, lightning strike of inspiration in the Ace of Wands. From this card, I'm receiving the image of your future self receiving insight through daydreaming. So whatever you will be fantasizing about during this time, whatever you fantasize about can become a reality. Because again, we had the number 4, that's manifestations coming true. And there is a keyhole at the third eye space with light shining through it. This is really calling out to me. From this keyhole and the light shining through, I'm interpreting this as your future self is seeing a vision for their career or studies that's in alignment with your higher self and true purpose. The meaning of this oracle card also talks about partnering with spirit to co-manifest. So for your future self, work is flowing through them. Ideas and inspiration are emerging from an infinite source, which I am perceiving as your higher self. Your future self is being very receptive to all the synchronicities, intuitive urges, and guidance that they are receiving from a higher power. Due to being receptive to all of these messages from higher perspectives or beings of high vibrational love and light, your future self is continually moving in the right direction. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Anyway, moving on to your personal life. The messages that your future self would like to share with you about what's going on in your personal life. Okay, so with the tarot card we have, this says potential at the bottom in this deck, but in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's actually the Fool card. And we see it in reverse here, except I am not taking this as representing the reverse meaning of the Fool. It's in the reverse position because it is facing into this oracle card, and it's giving extra emphasis and focus on the message of this oracle card. This card is representing your personal journey. It talks about new beginnings or the beginning of following one's true path or destiny. So the major arcana in tarot represents the Fool's journey, and the Fool has the number 0. It's the very beginning, and then as the cards go on in progression in chronological order, it determines stages and phases of the Fool's journey. With the number 0, all the flowers present in this card and the word potential at the bottom, I'm taking all of this as symbols to represent an infinite amount of possibilities that await you on this journey, on your Fool's journey, so to speak. All the white on this card too, with the clothing, the flowers, reiterate that message of being connected to your higher self, of having an open and active crown chakra where you can receive messages, divine inspiration, anything that you need to guide you on this path. So with this card, your future self wants you to know that they are at the beginning of the journey that is your true path. Your true path, your purpose, your calling. The wildcat in the imagery of this card is giving me the energy of your spirit team. So your future self is being divinely guided and supported during this journey. I'm also sensing that you have many spirit guides and spirit animals around you, along with the support of your higher self. So there's really no need to worry about taking a wrong turn in your path. Everything will happen as it's meant to, because the Fool card is also about having belief, having trust in the process, in the journey. And that is a perfect lead-in into the oracle card here, because we have Sky Father, trust in the unknown. This is repeating that message of having divine support. And you know, there is a lot of bird imagery throughout this reading. We have an eagle here, we have a hawk on this oracle card, and we actually have another bird here. I don't know what type it is, but it's another bird. I feel like birds may be significant to you, especially birds of prey like this eagle and hawk. You may see them a lot as signs, or they may even be your totem or power animal. But anyway, the bottom of this card literally says trust in the unknown. This is a quite self-explanatory message from your future self. Your future self is telling you to trust that the natural unfolding of events are happening in your favor, and they are happening for a reason. So what I was saying with the Fool card, it's being repeated here. This is very important, so remember that. I'm sensing that a lot that's going to happen on your journey is meant to be a surprise. That's why we're not really getting a lot. Your future self just wants you to know that on your journey of personal growth, to trust that everything is happening for a reason. Everything will work out for the best. I'm also getting the energy from this card that your spirit team is saying not to worry, for you're being guided and protected. So I hope that that is comforting for you on this journey, because I know that on any journey that you embark on, there will be unknowns. But like this card says, quite literally, just trust in the unknown, you will be okay. I'm also getting this energy like your spirit team is saying just you wait, because the process of this journey will be even more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. This card is also coming through as a reminder from your higher self that you don't need to know every single detail of your journey to move forward. And since eagles, they see things very clearly from afar. They have a higher perspective. They can see small details in high definition, and also they can have the bird's eye view, like they can see an entire landscape. I'm seeing this symbol of the ego as your higher self seeing a higher perspective, as we talked about previously throughout this reading. Wow, there's a lot of connection in all of these life areas that we brought up, having to do with you being connected to a higher perspective, connected to your higher self. So the main message I'm seeing throughout with this card and throughout the previous cards and the spread so far is that the ability to connect with your higher self is already within you. It's almost like your future self wants you to unlock it, because it will lead to all of this. Yeah, your future self is coming from a place where they have already activated what's already inside of you, if that makes sense. Okay, so moving on to this tarot card. This tarot card represents when will you become this future version of yourself. So we have XX, and that is the number 20. By the way, this says Confucius, but in traditional tarot decks, it is actually the Judgment card. So with this number 20, this could be talking about 20 weeks or 20 months. 20 weeks would be about 5 months, and 20 months would be about 2 years. It would be exactly 1 year and 8 months from whenever you're watching this reading. I'm feeling the energy that this is the range of time that describes when this whole process of connecting to your higher self and connecting to your true path will happen. Yeah, I'm feeling that the future self that came forward to deliver these messages for you today is at the end of this process. So it's at the end of the 1 year and 8 months, almost 2 years that it took to complete this journey or this phase of your journey. And since this is the Judgment card, this is giving additive information about this journey. So you will probably be going through trials in the process of discovering and following your inner path. I'm taking this 5 months as you will start this process in about 5 months, and then this stage of your journey will end in about 2 years, or exactly 1 year and 8 months from whenever you're watching this video. So the stage of your life may take a while, but keep in mind it has a very powerful purpose. So it makes sense why this will be a little bit of a longer phase compared to others, because you'll be going through a lot of growth that will continue to fuel your path, your purpose, and your calling. Yeah, discovering and beginning to follow your true calling will establish a very strong foundation, as we saw with the number 4 is foundation, for the rest of your life. So it is a very important phase in your journey. Okay, so moving on to the last part of the reading, we have advice from your future self. I'm going to start here with this King of Swords. With this King of Swords, I'm getting the energy that your future self wants you to trust in your knowledge and intuition. The King of Swords usually depicts someone who is smart and very intellectually gifted. I'm receiving the message, though, that at times you may rely too much on your logical mind and intellect. There's also a shadowed sword. I'm not sure if you could see it. It blends in really well with the imagery, but there's a shadowed sword here, almost looking like it's stabbing this person in the gut. I'm taking this as your intuition coming through as your gut instincts, your gut feelings. So your future self wants you to acknowledge that your gut instincts and your gut feelings is also a form of knowledge. It may be a form of knowledge that you may not be able to logically explain. However, it doesn't mean that it lacks truth. It is knowledge that comes from within and from a higher perspective, as our higher selves can talk to us through our intuitive urges, through those feelings that we get. And I'm interpreting this imagery as pay attention to those gut instincts, those gut feelings that you receive. And there's even a bird's eye right here that's creating an eye on this person's face. This is repeating that message of having a higher perspective. Like we're talking about, birds are symbols of a higher perspective since they have a bird's eye view. Okay, so moving on to the World card here. Instead of being advice, I'm seeing this as more of a message of hope and inspiration for your future from your future self. It actually carries a similar energy of the Fool card of limitless potential. And with the number 21 at the bottom, this reduces to the number 3 numerology, which is the number of creation. So this is symbolizing that your creations will lead to possibility. Yeah, it's like with the globe making up this person's dress, that's how I'm getting that message of infinite possibility, like the world is yours. And with this golden dress here, this relates to the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra helps with manifestation. It's about being connected to your power and utilizing it to create. So again, that it relates to that message that we had from the number 3, creation. The solar plexus chakra also is the energy center that deals with being connected to your true self and true path. So I guess the advice that I can get from this card is to utilize the energy of your solar plexus chakra by taking actions that are in line with your most authentic self-expression. Traditionally speaking, the world in tarot talks about a successful completion. We also saw the number 20 in the Judgment card, and then there's 21 here in the world. So this indicates a progression, a completion, moving to the next step in your journey. So your future self is saying with this card to be excited about this journey to come, because it will be a time of great transformation, which comes with benefits, satisfaction, and expanding of your horizons. Okay, lastly, we are going to leave off with this oracle card, the Hawk Spirit. At the bottom it says, let spirit be your guide. It definitely is not a coincidence that we had these two oracle cards reiterating similar messages of having guidance from your spirit team, your higher self. They are working with you to manifest all that you desire, to manifest your purpose and calling. So for your last piece of advice here, your future self is being quite literal with the message, let spirit be your guide. This message is very important, as it was in the reading multiple times with the Sky Father Oracle card as well. The number 2 reduces to the number 5, which I associate with change. So I'm feeling that your future self is advising you to trust that you're being guided and supported in times of change. This card also talks about listening to your intuition and being receptive to the signs and synchronicities that you receive from your spirit team and higher self. You are and will continue to receive messages from your spirit team. Your future self is asking you to listen to the communication that you receive and to keep your eyes open, like these birds, like the messages that were spoken of in relation to all this bird imagery. Keep your eyes open. With all the bird symbolism in this reading, birds may be a main source of communication from your spirit team to you, so I would keep this in mind as well. I would especially pay attention to birds of prey, such as this hawk and eagle here. It may be a sign, a confirmation for you, or even that your spirit team is trying to get a hold of you, something of that nature. That is all the messages I have for you. I hope you found these messages to be helpful, enlightening, empowering, and inspiring. If you feel called to do so, please leave a like or comment to let me know how the reading resonated with you. I also offer personal readings through my website at divinedesigntarot.com. I'm sending you lots of love and light. I'm wishing you the best in becoming this future version of yourself. I hope to connect with you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, this reading will be for everyone who picked group number 3 with the goldstone crystal. So let me explain a little bit about the spread before I get started with reading the cards. I paired one tarot card and one oracle card for 3 general life areas. These will represent what is going on in the life of your future self. So over here we have one tarot card and one oracle card representing your future self's love life, career and studies, and personal growth or spiritual journey. Then I have one tarot card right here representing how long it will take for you to become this future version of yourself. What period of time is this future self who came forward coming from? And then the last section over here will be any advice that your future self has for your current position or your current self. Okay, so I'm going to get started with reading what your future self has to tell you about their love life. So we have the 3 of Wands here. Oh, actually, before I start reading, interpreting the cards, I want to let you know that I kept this area pretty broad. So this, when I say love life, this could mean any close, intimate bonds that you have. So it could be about romantic relationships, platonic relationships, friendships, family, your relationships with family members, and even the relationship that you have with yourself. So keep that in mind. But starting off, we have the 3 of Wands. With this card, your future self is happy in their relationships. As I connected with the energy of this card, I felt like crying. I felt an energy of relief. It's like you have felt pain for so long and forgot what it feels like to be free. Your future self feels free in their relationships, free to be themselves, free to love, and free to have an open heart. I'm feeling all this intuitively from the card, but this message is being repeated by the imagery on this card. As you can see, this person is effortlessly dancing in a green dress. I specifically point out the green dress because the color green is associated with the heart chakra. So it's reiterating that message of being free to love, to use your heart, to have an open heart. The traditional meaning of the 3 of Wands also indicates being well received by others. This can take the form of actual communication with other people, or this can mean that others are understanding and accepting your form of self-expression. So how your future self is presenting themselves to the world is being accepted and understood. Okay, to add a little more about the love life of your future self, we have the Crystal Spirit Oracle card, Agreen. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce this crystal name, but I'm just going to say Agreen. With this card, I'm feeling a major release of relationships that no longer served you or benefited you. These relationships took up unnecessary space. That's probably why, or part of the reason why, your future self feels so free in this Three of Wands right here. Yeah, I'm feeling that your future self let go of baggage and weight from these relationships. And this card even has the number 1 at the bottom, which talks about new beginnings. So it's like your future self left certain relationships or let go of certain relationships to make room for new ones, because the number 1 is associated with new beginnings. There's also a face in the crystal of this card. The face kind of reminds me of Asian sculptures of demons. This is giving me similar energy of the Devil card in tarot, which can talk about toxic or maladaptive relationships. This repeats that message of letting go of the relationships that no longer benefited you. So your future self has let go of relationships that no longer served a purpose in your life. Like I said, with the number 1 symbolizing new beginnings, your future self has planted seeds for more fulfilling, joyous relationships by shedding away old ones. The crystal agrine talks about acknowledging your right to be your unique self and to act with integrity to this self. So with that, I'm feeling that your future self is confidently showing up in the world as their true self, and this is attracting those who appreciate them for who they truly are. So in these relationships that your future self has let go of, there may have been a feeling or even fear of being themselves, a fear that maybe these people wouldn't accept them for who they are, something of that nature. But that's all the more reason that your future self has shed those relationships so they could welcome in new ones that feature people who truly accept them. Like we saw in this picture of the Three of Wands, your future self is feeling free, free to love and be themselves. They're dancing effortlessly, naturally. They're really feeling in their element with these new relationships. The color black in this card, and also even in the Three of Wands, is pulling me towards the root chakra because the color black is associated with this chakra. So with that, I'm receiving the message that your future self feels safe and secure in themselves and in these future relationships to express their most authentic self. I love that. So moving on to what is happening in your future self's life regarding career and studies. Here we have the Six of Pentacles. With these yellow and orange dots covering pretty much the entire card, I'm interpreting these as representing seeds or manifestations that your future self has planted related to career or studies. And since we have Six Pentacles here, almost like they're coming from the seeds, your future self is seeing these manifestations come into existence. The seeds that I'm seeing here grew into a crop of rewards, and your future self is harvesting or receiving the blessings from your efforts. Also with this card, your future self has more than enough abundance and resources. This actually leads into the traditional meaning of the Six of Pentacles, which is feeling generous, because you have more than enough. You feel like you have enough to give to others. So with this card, your future self is in a place of generosity, and they also are feeling free to give to others without overstepping their own boundaries. Your future self feels free to give as they please because they understand the cycle of giving and receiving. This Circle of Pentacles is representing the idea of giving and receiving as a never-ending cycle. With that understanding, with that perspective, your future self gives freely without feeling lack or coming from a lack mentality, because they know what they give will always come back to them. Like I said, with the never-ending cycle, you give, you receive, and so forth. Since this card is also ruled by the moon, your future self intuitively knows how much time, effort, energy, resources, etc. to give to their career or studies that is still within healthy boundaries. The oracle card that came out for this section is Chaos and Conflict. However, it did come out upside down, so I'm taking this as having the opposite meaning of chaos and conflict. So instead of experiencing chaos and conflict, I'm feeling an energy of harmony and a lot of high vibrational energy for the career or studies of your future self. We also have the number 33 here, which reduces to the number 6. We have another number 6, two sixes next to each other. The number 6 symbolizes harmony, peace, and high vibrational thinking. So that reiterates that message of not having this chaos and conflict in your career or studies. The pieces of this animal look like they're floating away. I'm seeing this as representing the chaos and conflict within your career or studies, and perhaps people that you work with leaving your life. So all of the chaos and conflict from the past has left your life. I feel that this is related to your future self being their true self, because as we see here, this animal was pretending to be a giraffe, but as these pieces flow away, it is revealed that the animal was a zebra this whole time. So it repeats that message of your future self revealing their true self to the world, being in a period of authentic self-expression. Okay, so now moving on to the personal growth or spiritual journey part of the reading. Here we have the Witch, which is actually the Magician card in traditional tarot decks. Your future self is being represented by the Magician. This person in the card is holding a sword in one hand and a beam of light in the other. This is telling me that your future self knows how to wield and utilize their mind, represented by the sword, and energy, represented by this beam of light. With the pentacle and cup of light in these two corners, your future self knows how to interact with the physical and non-physical aspects of life. With all the white flowers surrounding this person, I'm being pulled to the crown chakra and your higher self. The color white is traditionally associated with the crown chakra, and I also relate the color white to the higher self. Your future self is confident in their personal power, abilities, skills, knowledge, and experience. Wow, you could really see all of the connection that ties these different life areas together. It's like your future self has, since they're connected to their higher self and authentically expressing themselves, this is showing throughout all of these different life areas. Okay, but getting back to what your future self wants to tell you about your personal growth or spiritual journey. So we have the Oracle card, Mountains. At the bottom it says, stand your ground. The imagery of the mountain being reflected is giving off the energy that the magician that has always been inside you is finally being shown and expressed. With the message of stand your ground and the description of this oracle card in the guidebook, your future self is grounded in knowing who they truly are. They are rooted in their inner power and live life according to their truth. Their understanding of your true self has created a strong, unshakable foundation that's similar to that of a mountain. I love that for you. And I don't think it's a coincidence that you were drawn to this gold stone. This crystal represents being true to yourself, being confident in who you truly are. And it has a lot of subtext of stepping into your personal power, just like the messages that we had in the Magician card. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next part of the reading with this tarot card here. Now, I pulled this card with the intention of asking when you will become this future version of yourself that we saw in these different life areas. What came out was the 10 of Staves. However, in traditional tarot decks, this would be the 10 of Wands. So, with this card, you could become your future self in 10 weeks. Yeah, for this section of the reading, I've been using the number of the card, the number on the card, to indicate the number of possible days, weeks, months, or even years, but I am feeling very strongly that this is indicating 10 weeks, so that would be about 2.5 months. Since this is also a Wands card, it usually depicts fast-moving energy. And 2.5 months is pretty soon, so I think it lends itself well to that fast-moving energy of a Wands card. Yeah, I keep feeling that this is happening very soon. And I'm sensing a message of some kind of completion with the number 10, because that's what the number 10 symbolizes to me. And also if you can see, the smoke in this card is flowing towards this section of the reading, the advice section of the reading. So perhaps whatever is being brought up in the advice section will help you become this future self quicker, which is why this is happening so soon. Yeah, whatever is going to be brought up in this section, it's going to reach a completion like we had in the number 10 of this card. I'm also feeling a sense of relief in this card, like I want to take a big sigh of relaxation. Loose ends are currently being tied up, cycles are being completed, and you will be this future self very soon. In fact, becoming this future version of yourself is already in progress. I think you've already been releasing a lot in your life. It's giving me the vibe of, when is this period of healing going to be over? However, your future self is coming from a place where they finally feel light and free, like they can finally catch their breath. So with that, let's move on to the last section of the reading, which will be any advice your future self has for your current life circumstances or the current version of yourself that's watching this video right now. I'm going to start over here with the 8 of Swords. I want to start by pointing out how the 8 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles are reflecting one another. First, we literally have the repetition of the number 8, which symbolizes cycles that need to end to continue our personal growth and evolution. Second, the bodies are facing the same direction and are contorted in similar positions. The energy I'm receiving from this mirroring happening with the 2 cards is that your future self will be offering advice as to what unhelpful cycles need to be released in order to become this future version of yourself. The cage in this card represents your own self-limiting beliefs. This person is crouched down inside the cage, but the feeling of being trapped is an illusion. Since the cage is wide open, this person could use these wings on their back to easily fly away, except they are the ones choosing to be in this cage, choosing to be stuck. Due to this imagery and the traditional tarot meaning of this card, your future self wants you to acknowledge that you're holding yourself back. Your own self-limiting beliefs are creating this feeling of being trapped, stuck, or paralyzed. However, the truth that your higher self wants you to see is that you are free. Just like the person in this card, you could fly out of this cage. It is open. You have the power to break free of the self-imposed illusion that you are stuck. I'm seeing with this card that your future self would like you to work on changing the self-limiting beliefs that keep you from feeling free and in your power. So it's time to change your mindset, to stop holding yourself back so you could be free. Just like we are seeing the concept of freedom beautifully depicted in this Three of Wands card. Now moving on to the Eight of Pentacles. I'm feeling that these self-limiting beliefs that were indicated in the Eight of Swords relates to your career, studies, or creations, since it's facing and reflecting this Eight of Pentacles. I'm interpreting this butterfly as representing whatever project idea or business you have been working on, whatever you're working to create or manifest in terms of career, studies, or any creative hobbies. This person is very meticulous. They're paying a high amount of attention to detail. They are planning every single step of whatever they are trying to create. But as you can see, they are holding the butterfly so tightly to themselves and so close that they're losing perspective. All they can see is the project that they've been working on. And they are failing to see what's surrounding them. They're failing to see these other butterflies that are flying around. I'm interpreting these other butterflies as representing the idea of releasing your work into the world, letting your work be free so you could receive abundance from your labor and efforts. So with this card, I'm seeing that your future self wants to tell you that what you are creating is already amazing. You are good enough, you are skilled enough, you are experienced enough to succeed and reap the rewards from your efforts. That is a message that is being repeated because that's what the Magician card is all about. Knowing your power, your worth, trusting in your creative abilities. Okay, so the belief of not being good enough, whether it be conscious or subconscious, may be part of the self-limitations that were mentioned in this Eight of Swords. You are being pushed by your future self to be confident, as this card is also ruled by the Sun. And we also had the Goldstone, which reminds me of the Sun too. It glitters, it catches your eye, it gives me this energy of confidence, of letting yourself sparkle in the light, just like this Goldstone. So your future self would like you to be more confident in your work, creativity, and skills. The last thing that I will talk about in this reading is this Oracle card that has to do with any more advice that your future self has for you. We have the number 67 here. This number reduces to the number 13, as 6 plus 7 equals 13. To me, the number 13 represents a complete ending of a cycle. This is another confirmation that this Eight of Swords and Eight of Pentacles will come to an end. Trust that you are doing the work necessary for this. That you are doing the work, or that you will do the work to end these cycles after watching this reading. I'm seeing feathers around this wolf's eyes, which represent freedom. So with this wolf spirit card, your future self is saying that you will see the truth and you will be free from illusions, like the illusion that we were talking about in the Eight of Swords. This oracle card's description in the guidebook speaks about being in alignment with your destiny and the path that your soul has been yearning for. And we actually have a statement at the bottom of the card. It says, turn knowledge into wisdom. So your future self is saying, keep going, as your knowledge will transform into wisdom, while your experience turns into magic. This means all of your life lessons and experiences have led you to this point of alignment. The wolf is also a very intuitive animal. So trust your intuition to guide you along this path. Follow where it calls you, and you could trust that your intuition is leading you in the right direction. Okay, so that is all the messages that I have for you today. I hope you found these messages to be helpful, inspiring, enlightening, and empowering. If you feel called to do so, please leave a like or comment to let me know how the reading resonated with you. I also offer personal readings through my website at divinedesigntarot.com. I'm sending you lots of love and light. I'm wishing you the best in becoming this future version of yourself. I hope to connect with you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, this reading is for all those who picked group number 4, along with this malachite crystal. So before I explain the spread of this reading, I wanted to mention that before shuffling the cards and pulling out all of these cards, I was particularly drawn to this crystal for some reason, and I think it's so funny that this malachite oracle card came out. So I feel like malachite, the crystal malachite, really wants to work with you or really had a message for you. So if you're into working with crystals, it may be a good idea to work with malachite. Okay, so let me explain what this spread is going to tell us today. What it's going to tell us about the messages your future self has for you. So I have a tarot card paired with an oracle card for these 3 sections. These represent different life areas of the life of your future self. These 2 talk about what your future self would like to tell you about their love life, career and studies, and lastly, more personal growth or spiritual journey. This tarot card right here will tell us when you will become this future version of yourself, or rather, how far into the future is this future self coming from that's delivering us messages today. And the last section here will be any advice that your future self has for your current situation and the current version of yourself that is watching this video. So I'm going to get started on the aspect of your life, your future self's life regarding love. I kept this section pretty broad. Love means any close, intimate bonds that your future self has. So this could be romantic, platonic. This could be about friendship, any close bonds with family members, even the relationship with oneself. I'm going to get started with the Six of Wands. I'm interpreting these beams of light as representing the people in your life in the future. These are people who are full of love and light, just like your future self. These are people who your future self feels at harmony with, almost like your energies are aligned with one another. I'm feeling that with the imagery of this card, we have a lot of white being depicted. I associate the color white with the crown chakra, with being connected to your higher self. And as I said before, these beams of light are representing the people who are surrounding you, and your future self is being represented as this figure dressed in white. So there's a lot of mirroring going on. Also with the number 6, it is the Six of Wands. I associate the number 6 with high vibrational energy, with a high vibrational perspective. So again, it's reiterating that message of you and the people who are surrounding you being connected to their higher selves. I'm feeling a sense of community that inspires one another, because wands carry an energy of passion and devotion with them, because this is a wands card. Now, with all of the white colors, the white light, I'm seeing this as a community of individuals who can see from a higher perspective. As I mentioned before, the color white is associated with the crown chakra. So I'm sensing that your future self is surrounded by those with active crown chakras and connections with their higher selves. So in the future, the company that you keep is a reflection of yourself. As I said before, there's a lot of mirroring going on. This means that your higher self is also operating from a high vibrational energy, a high vibrational perspective. With the traditional interpretation of the Six of Wands, I'm also seeing that these other people around you are celebrating you, and they truly like you for who you are. I'm seeing these light beings as people surrounding you, as they are surrounding this person in the imagery here, and they are supporting your future self. They're celebrating you. Now let's see what Malachite, the crystal spirit of Malachite, has to say to you about the love life of your future self. I'm seeing a face embedded into the crystal, and it looks very similar to the face in this card. They're both wearing crowns made of plants. This one looks like made of leaves, this one is made of flowers, but it's representing a similar idea. So with this being a crown of leaves, which are green, the leaves are green, this is pulling me towards the heart chakra. With the crown of leaves, this metaphorically means that your future self thinks with their heart. This is what has led them to the victory in finding a like-minded, supportive community that was mentioned in the Six of Wands. There's the number 34 at the bottom of the Malachite Oracle card. This reduces to the number 7. Now, I associate the number 7 with making choices. So this is telling me that your future self is making choices by connecting with their heart space. Again, all of this green color is connected to the heart chakra. They are making choices that are aligned with their heart space and their heart chakra. The crystal spirit of malachite helps with gaining clarity and finding balance between one's intuition and intellectual or logical mind. This crystal tells me that your future self is honoring their emotions, yet still recognizing when their emotions are rooted in unhelpful past patterns. With this crystal, I sense that your future self is connecting with their intuition, that inner urge in their heart space that simply knows the truth without any logical explanation. Through this deep tie with their intuition, your future self is able to make sense of their thoughts and emotions and make decisions related to relationships that come from their innermost truths. I love that for your future self. Okay, so moving on to the career or studies section of the reading. I'm going to start with the Seven of Pentacles. I'm being immediately drawn to the yellow color of this dress. Yellow is connected to the solar plexus. Yellow is connected to the solar plexus chakra. With this, I'm feeling that your future self's solar plexus chakra is very active and functioning perfectly. This means that your future self is feeling confident in their abilities, they feel connected to their inner power, and they are taking actions that exercise their will to manifest. Like I said before about the number 7 when talking about the Malachite Oracle card, the number 7 represents making choices. So this is reiterating that message of your future self being very proactive about what they would like to accomplish in the area of career or studies. And I'm feeling that this all comes from knowing who they are. Your future self knows their path and they are confident in this understanding. With this person's hands on the pentacles, I'm seeing that your future self is dedicating themselves to honing in on their craft. They are engaging with practical skills that are necessary for their career or academic goals. Your future self is exercising their will by developing these practical skills to create their manifestations or give their desires a physical form. This card traditionally talks about a daily investment. So this daily investment is indicative of your future self being on the right path for success. The traditional meaning of this card and all of the flowers and greenery that I'm seeing around this person that represents your future self holds subtext of abundance. It holds the subtext of abundance that is yet to come from your efforts and from your work. But rest assured, this abundance will come. Next to the Seven of Pentacles, we have this oracle card that says, "Come to the edge." With this card, I'm feeling that your future self is more comfortable with taking risks in their career or studies. We also have the number 36 here, which reduces to the number 9. And so I'm feeling that this risk-taking is leading to limitless opportunities, since I associate limitless opportunities with the number 9. This person's foot is so close to falling off the edge, but the person is dancing so freely without any concern of falling. I'm getting this feeling of your future self having absolute trust in themselves and their abilities, that they're more open to taking risks without any fear or anxiety holding them back. It's this inner knowing that everything is going to be okay, even if they really fell off this edge here. The meaning of this card in the guidebook also talks about stepping into the unknown. So in terms of your career or studies, your future self may be in an unfamiliar environment. This may be uncomfortable at first, but as we saw with the number 9, it is leading to opportunities that you wouldn't have received if you didn't take these necessary risks in your career or studies. Lastly, with this card, I'm feeling that your future self has overcome fear of entering into an unfamiliar environment, and they've taken a leap of faith that will lead to prosperity and dream fulfillment. Yeah, whatever leap of faith that your future self has taken, like we said in the 7 of Pentacles, this has a subtext of being on the right path to receiving abundance. Okay, so moving on to what your future self has to tell you about your personal growth or spiritual journey. We have the Queen of Cups. The Two of Cups represents emotions and intuition. With this being the Queen of Cups, your future self has mastered their emotions. Your future self holds a deep understanding of why their emotions arise and how to take care of their emotions. With all the white and pink flowers around the person on this card, I'm connecting this to the crown chakra and the higher heart chakra. White relates to the crown chakra and pink relates to the higher heart chakra. So your future self is seeing from a higher perspective, and a perspective that is rooted in self-love, because that is what I associate with the color pink and the higher heart chakra. Self-love. From this chess piece that the Queen is holding, I'm seeing this image in my mind of someone trying to get a rise out of your future self or some kind of emotional reaction. However, your future self remains calm and collected in the situation. I actually this statement is coming to my head, like your future self is saying, checkmate, bitch. I'm not saying that the person who's trying to get this reaction out of you is a bitch, but that's just what was coming to my mind. It's pretty funny. It's like this energy that your future self is saying, oh, you thought you could manipulate my emotions, but I am in complete control of them, so the joke's on you. Also with this card, this is telling me that your future self is very intuitive. Through their intuition, they receive messages from beings of high vibrational love and light. I'm seeing this especially with the shells on the back of the birds. Since shells come from the ocean, this symbolizes intuition, while these white birds are symbolizing beings who have a high vibrational perspective. Okay, so with the Oracle card here, what came out is the High Priestess. Now, this is even more confirmation of your intuitive nature. This is describing your future self as someone who sees the truth and wields their intuition efficiently and accurately. These wings that are intersecting at the heart space are reminding me of the idea of freedom. So I'm seeing that your future self has achieved freedom from listening to the intuitive urges that arise in their heart space, in their heart chakra. Also with this cat, and we even have a bobcat right here later in the reading, I feel called to say that during this time, you will have a spirit animal from the cat family with you, supporting you, or you may even have a feline companion that's incarnated in the physical sense that is with you. I also want to point out this shape at the top. This is a sacred geometry symbol called the Merkaba. The Merkaba symbolizes finding a perfect balance between the divine feminine and masculine energies that reside inside of you. It also represents using the latent power inside by raising one's vibration. So with the messages associated with this sacred geometry symbol, your future self is really connected to their higher self, and this is allowing a portal or gateway to use their natural power. Like we see at the bottom of this card, your future self is harnessing their mystic power. With the duality of the black and white colors on this card, I'm sensing that your future self is being protected from low vibrational energies at this time. I also feel that you are able to transmute any negativity into positivity to maintain this higher perspective. Okay, so moving on to the next part of the reading, I pulled a tarot card with the intention of asking when you will become this future version of yourself that we talked about earlier in the reading. When will these events in your life areas happen? So we have the Seven of Cups here. Since we have the number 7, this could be 7 weeks or 7 months. I recommend taking what resonates with you personally, because I feel that this will vary with everyone watching this reading based on if you feel ready to make the active choices of becoming this future version of yourself. I'm feeling that most of you are currently in the dreaming stage, kind of like how this person is dreaming. As you can see, they're dreaming of these 7 cups. I'm feeling this energy that you're just now considering or acknowledging this future version of yourself as being a possibility. Right now, it may be wishful thinking because you haven't made the active choices which directly coincide with stepping on this path of becoming your future self, the future self that is coming forward in this reading. the traditional meaning of the Seven of Cups talks about having psychic hunches. So if you have any psychic hunches, which is your intuition speaking to you, I'm feeling that you're not completely confident in these intuitive urges that you feel quite yet. But there is a push from your future self to build upon your intuitive abilities by engaging with them, practicing with them more often. And this could start with you perhaps meditating to shut out other distractions, such as any emotions or thoughts that are coming up that block out that inner voice inside of you that is coming from your intuition. Okay, so now we're on to the last part of the reading, which is any advice your future self has for your current self that is watching this video, or your current life circumstances. I'm going to start off with the Two of Wands in reverse. With this card, I'm feeling an imbalance between two energies. I say two energies because Wands cards, the Suit of Wands represents this idea. This planet appears to be made up of water, which I'm interpreting as your intuition, because as I mentioned before with the Cups card, water is associated with our intuition, emotions, things of that nature. But I'm specifically interpreting this planet as your intuition. This world of water looks like it's about to fall out of this person's hands since the card is upside down. With this imagery, I'm seeing that your future self wants you to utilize your intuition more to create more balance inside of you. As we mentioned earlier in the reading, your future self has achieved a perfect balance between their logical and intuitive side. To get there, your future self is telling you to let your intuition bear more weight in your decisions. Yeah, your future self wants you to focus more on what that quiet inner voice has to say, because I'm feeling that lately you may have put more focus on maybe what your logical mind has to say about making a certain decision, or even what your emotions are pushing you towards. Yeah, there's a strong pull in this card to focus more on those intuitive urges that come up inside of you. Traditionally speaking, this card also talks about being afraid of the unknown and taking risks. If you connect with your intuitive side, though, this will help you take the right steps regardless of fear. It will allow you to take more risks because you'll know that you could trust in your intuition to guide you to where you're supposed to be. And this will, in fact, lead you to becoming your future self. Okay, so moving on to the Temperance card. The number 14 is at the bottom, which reduces to the number 5. The number 5 indicates change. I'm feeling that the change your future self is referring to is a balance between modes of action or inaction. Or this could be talking about different ways of acting. For example, are you acting out of emotional reaction, acting from your rational mind, or from a place of inner knowing or your intuition? As you can see in the imagery, one bird is remaining in this person's hand while the other is flying away. This is representing learning when to remain in your comfort zone and when to let go of this comfort to expand your horizons. This flying bird symbolizes letting go of fear to take risks and to explore the unknown. But I'm also feeling an energy of needing to connect with your intuition to be able to make these decisions, when to stay and when to go. I'm actually being called back to the Seven of Pentacles because there's mirroring happening in this card and that card. This person looks as if they're holding on to one pentacle and then releasing another from their hand. It has a similar imagery as this one, holding on and releasing. So this could be about finding balance between producing and releasing your creations. For example, if you're always working on your career or academic projects without letting them go, then this prevents you from receiving anything back from your efforts. What you will receive back is an unknown. However, releasing your work is necessary to receive abundance or recognition. And I'm also feeling called to say to you right now that you are more than capable of doing this. So it is time to moderate or balance your behavior in terms of what motivates your actions. I'm feeling a strong push from your future self to listen to your intuition more, to help guide you through this process. Okay, now with the last card, we have the Bobcat Spirit Animal. At the bottom it says, life is a mystery. Your future self is being quite literal with this message here and explaining that it's okay to not know everything before walking down your path or making a decision. This oracle card is all about accepting and acknowledging that some things in life are meant to be discovered. They're meant to be a mystery. However, these things can only be discovered if you take that initial leap of faith and step out of your comfort zone. Not everything can be explained through intellect as well. It's okay to trust the knowledge that your intuition offers you. Lastly, I feel called to read this directly from the guidebook. What you experience through your heart and intuition, which comes to you as the voice of your inner knowing, will guide you as you accept that mystery is woven into the fabric of the universe. No matter what, the appearance of Bobcat Spirit is a sign that you are being called to trust, even when what is revealed does not agree with your need for intellectual certainty. Okay, so that is all the messages I have for you today. I hope you found these to be helpful, enlightening, empowering, and inspiring. If you feel called to do so, please leave a like or comment to let me know how the reading resonated with you. I also offer personal readings through my website at divinedesigntarot.com. I'm sending you lots of love and light. I'm wishing you the best in becoming this future version of yourself. I hope to connect with you in the next reading. Bye!